In this video, we're going to be taking a look at Asajj Ventress and Tol Skorr for the comic pack line. So I'm pretty sure this pack was released either at the very end of the 30th anniversary line or at the very beginning of the Legacy Collection line. And I think it's leaning more towards the Legacy Collection line. I totally forget, and in fact this is probably the comic pack I've overlooked the most over the years. I actually didn't get this one until about 2017, and I knew when I saw it instantly on eBay that, why don't I have this pack for my collection yet? And I went ahead and got it. Especially a Ventress that's more based off her appearance in the Tartakovsky series. We don't really have too many of those. I mean, we have, maybe 3 or 4 of those. But this one's definitely the best one of the bunch, and it's probably the last one we're ever going to see of her in that style. I'm sure from here on out it's going to be more off the Dave Filoni Clone Wars appearance, which is fine too. I do have the original Clone Wars action figure from 2008 from her appearance from that series, and I also have the Black Series one, and those are great action figures as well. But for me, there's something special about the Tartakovsky look for Ventress. I think it's the best appearance of her, most iconic, most intimidating, and I personally prefer that version of Ventress over the Dave Filoni Clone Wars. Not saying that the Filoni version of Ventress is bad, it's just if I had to choose between the two, this is the one I go with. And as for Tol Skorr here, he definitely has a Scandinavian influence, which I think is neat. It's nice when Hasbro does historical references from real life in the Star Wars universe, which is, there's many of those. I would say probably each and every character is based off of some historical figure or reference in real life. But for Tol Skorr here as well, it kind of gives a perspective on the Star Wars universe, and particularly Darth Tyrannus or Count Dooku, that we're not used to seeing. Oftentimes when we think of disciples or apprentices that Count Dooku trained, we either just think of Ventress or maybe even Savage Opress, but we tend to forget some of these other characters that we've had, like Tol Skorr is one of them, and another one is Quinlan Vos here that you see on the comic book cover. They were at one time apprentices or disciples of Count Dooku and trained under him. So not something we hear about too much. It would be really cool if Lucasfilm did do a series or even a mini-series in regards to that, but I highly doubt it will ever happen, and even if they did, at this point I don't know if I trust Lucasfilm to do it justice. All they have to do is just a direct adaptation of the comic books, the Republic comic book series here, and transfer it into TV or film format. But I'm sure they would totally miss the mark on that. But anyways, without adding anything further at the time being, let's just go ahead and dive into this comic book here. So very nice image on the front here. Obviously that's Obi-Wan and Quinlan Vos. And this must be during the time when Quinlan Vos is a follower of Count Dooku. And you can see those droids in the background. I assume there's some type of secret droid of some sorts. And the one by Ventress here, that's exactly what it is. One of the accessories she comes with. This was Republic number 69. And there's quite a bit of good artwork in this. Someday I wouldn't mind sitting down and reading the whole Republic series. I think it has a lot to offer and a lot of insights into the expanding universe that we don't normally hear about for the Clone Wars. Image of Anakin, and I believe that's Stacy 10 there. See if I can point out his name in here. Yeah, Stacy 10. And we jump into Obi-Wan and Quinlan Vos here. So if you don't know a whole lot about Quinlan Vos, him and Obi-Wan do go way back together. They did train together as Padawans. I think they are about the same age group. And Quinlan Vos is more of a rogue Jedi. He doesn't really follow the ideals of the Jedi Order too closely. He just kind of goes off and does his own thing, which is pretty neat. So we got Plo Koon here, and kind of looks like Commander Fey. I'm not sure if that is. Jace, looks like his name is. Yeah, kind of looks like a clone a little bit. Public officers with a more Imperial looking uniform. And got some more action sequences. Underwater. Nice image of Tol Skorr and Ventress there. And it looks like we got an image of, or a flashback of, younger Obi-Wan and Quinlan Vos training with Qui-Gon watching over them. It's another action figure I want to get reviewed on the channel really soon too, is Qui-Gon. It's probably one of my favorite Jedi. Some more action sequences. Looks like we're getting to Tol Skorr and Obi-Wan and Quinlan Vos doing it out with Ventress as well. And yeah, I mean, just this image here and image here of Ventress, to me, I just think she looks much better as a character in this style. Dave Filoni one, even though she has a cartoon in that, she looks a little too cartoony, I would say, with all the purples and the flamboyant colors she has. She's not as intimidating as I can hear. So they're doing it out with a Rancor. And kind of ends on a cliffhanger here. And just some advertisements. So, pretty good comic book series from what I've seen of it so far. Like I said, I hope to sit down and read the whole thing at some day, and hopefully there is a graphic novel out there that has all of them together. I would assume there is. It's probably real expensive at this point, similar to like the Star Wars Legacy graphic novels. We'll go ahead and take a look at the main character of this pack first. Asajj Ventress. So really good head sculpt and really good paint detailing on this as well. I got no complaints about this action figure other than she does have a hard time standing on her own. You can put her on a stand, thankfully, and there's no problem putting her on a stand. But if you don't have her on a stand, you're never going to really get her to stand on her own. The position that her legs are in, and she kind of has smaller feet, so she'll have some trouble standing on her own. So lots of grays and dark browns on her outfit here, and some white. Has a soft goods brown skirt here. Looks like a silver belt buckle. In terms of articulation, she does have a ball joint at the head, then hinged shoulders and elbows. And she does have swivel forearms. And, assume it's swivel waist, yeah. Then swivel hips, and that's pretty much it. No knee or ankle articulation. So she's very good articulated from the waist up, but unfortunately it would be nice if she included some knee articulation. I think that would help out with her stance a lot more. There's this paint detailing on the sides of her head. Assume they're tattoos. So in terms of weapons and accessories, she does come with her iconic 2 lightsabers. Sure, basically the same thing, I think. Yeah, kind of similar to Count Dooku, where they have the curved hilt. And I believe you can combine them together and make it a double blade. Let's see here. Rarely do I display her as a... Yeah. Similar to like the Clone Wars Asajj Ventress. You can combine the lightsabers together and make a double hilt. And you can also take the blades apart. We haven't seen this in many years now at this point. But one time, especially during the Saga days and in between Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith, we got lots of action figures where you could take the lightsaber blade off the hilt. In some ways, I really liked it, but I can kind of understand why they got away from it, because a lot of people's hilts were, or the blade was breaking off from the hilt. As you can see, it's a very small peg there, and then you're pretty much left to just gluing it in place. But I liked it for the time. There is nowhere on her belt where you can hook these lightsaber hilts, so if you take the lightsaber blade outside of the hilt, all she can really do is just hold it. And another accessory that Ventress has is the Seeker Droid, like I mentioned, and has this, looks like a lightning effect where you just plug it in the bottom of the droid here. And I'm pretty sure it's just meant to go around her wrist here. One second. It's kind of a tight fit there, as you can see where that loop is. I would assume that's where you put it around her wrist. Might be easier just to yeah. So something like that. Looks pretty good. I don't think I've ever really had this displayed, or I've had Ventress displayed with the droid at all, so this is the first time I'm really looking at it. I did get this brand new, and I think in the package it was packed like this. The droid around, but I didn't waste no time taking it off. Thankfully it does stay in the place very well. There's no worries about it falling off. So that's Ventress there. Let's take a look at Tol Skorr. So like I mentioned, very Scandinavian influenced. There's a lot of nice paint detailing in his face there. They did a really good job with the cuts and the scars, and the nothing looks blotchy about it. There's some creases on his forehead. Did a nice job with his hair. Nice detailing in that. And it looks like he has mostly brown leather armor. Or it looks like it'd be more leather. He has a brown skirt, and brown pants, and brown boots. So like I said, other than that he's a disciple of Count Dooku, I really don't know a whole lot about Tol Skorr, so I don't know about his background, about where he came from, if he was a Jedi, what his fate was, or anything like that. But that is something I want to look into. So in terms of articulation, he does have a ball joint at the head, but it's very restricted because of his hair. Not that big of a deal though. The shoulder armor is flexible here. So he does have hinged shoulders and hinged elbows and swivel forearms. Yeah. Swivel waist, then swivel hips. Then he does have hinged knees and hinged ankles as well. Yeah. So they gave super articulation to Tol Skorr here, but not to Ventress, unfortunately. And in terms of his weapons and accessories, he does come with a very unique lightsaber. Not something we've really seen before. And this one, of course, you can take the blade out. You can actually plug it into his belt. Like that. It looks pretty good. Similar to Ventress with the droid here, I've never really had Tol Skorr displayed with his hilt on his belt. So he's holding the lightsaber pretty much at all times. He does have really large hands as well. He has a nice pose with this hand, where he's kind of like reaching out like, come to me, or something like that. Or give me this. And before we wrap up the review, I just wanted to show off how I normally have Ventress displayed. So I have Count Dooku here, and then I usually have her displayed like in the concept art that we normally see. Let's see if I could do this. That's usually how I display Ventress at all times, and it looks really good. And that usually helps with her standing. I almost never have Ventress on a stand because I have her in this pose, and because she's like that and has that leverage around Count Dooku, she will stay in the place and I don't have to worry about her falling over. And I have Dooku on a stand. So that's one way if you don't have stands available, or if you don't want to have Ventress on a stand, or space is an issue, you could just wrap her around a Count Dooku if you have one. Have her like in that iconic concept art piece that we see every now and then. And if you haven't seen it, look it up and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about when you see it. Other than that, that's all I can really tell you about this pack. So would I recommend it for your collection? I totally would. I think this is the best Asajj Ventress that we've gotten to date in 3 3/4 inch scale. But even between the Clone Wars and the Tartakovsky lines. And Tol Skorr is a very unique character as well. You can always use more Dark Jedi or Dark Side Force users in a collection. And he fits well with the Sith even. It's a very unique appearance. Looks really good. Like I said, I overlooked this pack for many years, unfortunately, and it wasn't until 2017 I finally got on eBay one day and I just happened to see it for like $40 and free shipping. It's like, why don't I have this for my collection yet? So I went ahead and got it. So I think that was probably one of the better deals that you can get for this as far as price is concerned. I do normally see this probably go for like $50 or $60 brand new, which is not the worst in terms of the comic books. Of course, it has been a couple years since I've looked this up, so maybe the price has gone up even more since then. If you find it loose, you could probably find them cheaper. I think I have seen Tol Skorr maybe go for like 30 or 40, and same for Ventress. Maybe a little bit less if you're lucky. So as far as comic books are or the comic book packs are concerned, it's not one of the most expensive ones, but it's definitely not extremely cheap either. So you never know, just keep an eye out. You might find a deal for this. And even if you do have to pay a little bit more for it, it's totally a recommended set. Very nice action figures, and I'm happy to have them both for my collection. So anyways, that concludes this review. I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for more reviews in the future. We'll be playing more to come. And if you haven't already, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. I greatly appreciate your support and let you know when more videos get posted. And check out some of the links in the description as well. Thanks for watching.